Glenn Greenwald has watched all of this. He's an independent journalist. His work is on Substack, among other places. He joins us tonight. Glenn, thanks so much for coming on. So every mass shooting, of course, is a tragedy. Every murder is a tragedy. Every death is a tragedy. But how chilling was it to watch the immediate mobilization of a political party using the pretext of a killing to make baldly political points? I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things a healthy society does is unites whenever there's a horrific act that violates the values of all decent people. We saw that in the wake of 9/11, for example, for a few days or a couple of weeks. But unfortunately, another path can be taken, and often is, by political leaders. You might remember in 1995 when there was that hideous attack on the federal courthouse in Oklahoma City. The Clinton administration immediately seized on that to say we need a backdoor access to be able to control the internet where this information is spreading. After 9/11, with the war on terror, right-wing leaders like Newt Gingrich explicitly argued we need to amend the First Amendment to control the ability of Muslim radicals to be able to spread their hateful message. So often these crises are seized upon by leaders to demand more power. This idea that, for example, the First Amendment doesn't protect hate speech is completely false. The Supreme Court has said the opposite. But I also think that what's critical to note is that every political ideology, every last one, has psychopaths or extremists who carry out violence in the name of that ideology, and to try and blame your political opponents or to ascribe fault or guilt to people who share that ideology is a completely morally atrocious act, because you're exploiting the corpses and not expressing sadness over them.
Shouldn't there at least be a pause? I mean, I think all of us can learn lessons from tragedy. Why do people do what they do? How did this happen? I think we should know. I think that of all tragedies. But it seems like the period where we sort of pause and let the sadness sink in, and remember we're all united by our ultimate deaths, which we are, it makes us equal as people, that time has evaporated. It's like instant now. And I wonder what that says about our leaders.
I was really amazed at not just the rapidity with which this coordinated messaging campaign emerged to try and blame this network and political opponents, but also just how unanimous it was, particularly since the only thing that was known about the person who carried out this massacre was a 181-page, very densely written manifesto that, as you said, had a wide range of kind of unrelated ideas. He called himself a left-wing authoritarian on the one hand, a fascist on the other hand. There was no way these people could have taken the time to have read that, to have learned about the mental health of this person. They didn't care what the facts were. They saw an opportunity in those corpses laying on the ground, and the opportunity was political and exploitative, and they seized on it together and quickly in a way that made clear that their concern or sadness for the victims was a complete pretense. They instantly weaponized it before anything was known.
Anyone who shows no reverence in the face of death should make us nervous. It's a sign of ruthlessness and bad character. I think that anyone's death, any place, I believe that. I know you do too. Glenn Greenwald, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tucker.